Broden is one of the strongest constitutionalists and outspoken pastors that I know of in America. This guy's been through hell and back. He appeared on my show at Fox News. He attended 828, Restoring Honor in D.C. He ran for Congress in Texas. During his congressional race, he became a national news story when a local report came out stating that he was advocating a violent overthrow of our government. Watch.
Said in June 2009, there is a solution.
We have a constitutional remedy here. And the framer says, if that don't work, revolution.
Broden says revolution first means at the ballot box, but a violent overthrow is an option.
Our nation was founded on violence.
In 2010, you would urge that as an option, though?
The option is on the table. I don't think that we should ever remove anything from the table as it relates to our liberties and our freedoms.
Okay, this is in the days when the press actually cared about people who saying violent overthrow. But this isn't the story. This is what was released. After the TV station released the full tape of the interview, they were forced to, it was clear that he was bullied into that statement and then taken out of context.
This is an option as you view
Our
revolution.
nation was founded on violence. We violently resisted King George and revolted against his tyranny.
In 2010, you would urge that as an option, though?
The option is on the table. I don't think that we should ever remove anything from the table as it relates to our liberties and our freedoms. It should not be removed. However, it is not the first option, as the founders framed. And I think what we have in the Constitution is a process through which we can alter what may be tyranny that's happening in our nation.
It's also important to note here that during the interview, Broden repeatedly stated that he wasn't urging for violence or an uprising. Over and over again, he said the best way to change our government was through the Constitution. Now, after the formal interview, he warned about his comments being taken out of context. Watch this amazing exchange.
Do you think some of your remarks could hurt you in this election, particularly with the electorate and district
If it's
authority?
not given the context, and if someone like you would lift it out and make it seem as if I'm some kind of radical, I think it could potentially.
Isn't that amazing? That's exactly what he did. And I contend that's exactly what that man intended on doing in the first place. It's important that I set the record straight, to me personally, because originally I was on the wrong side of this. We were going through hell at the time ourselves. And I saw that and I thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe he said that. I took it back 2 days later after the Blaze exposed the rest of that tape. I apologized to the pastor again today for believing the mainstream media, and I told him that I will never abandon a friend like I did. I should have fought harder for him at the time. It was outrageous. But anyway, I bring him in today because I want to talk about an important rally for religious freedom that is taking place tomorrow. And welcome to the program, Pastor.
It's good to be here with you again.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me about, you know, I was just doing a couple monologues on our freedom of speech and religious freedom. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Nothing like this. We read about it when we go to history and we look at what took place in other parts of the world, but not here in America. This is most unusual.
Rate this as how dangerous is it that we're seeing? What does this mean? Because I talk about this with people who are just, you know, I go out someplace and they'll say, you know, I'll say something about, you know, are you involved in your church because you're about to lose your religious freedom, you're about to lose freedom of speech, and they have no clue. I can see their eyes glaze over as people used to talk to me in 2007 before the crash, and I'd say, you have your money out of the stock market because it's about to crash. And they just would like, okay, crazy man. How close are we, do you think?
I think we're right at the wall, the last wall between the loss of our liberties is the wall of our First Amendment rights and religious rights. I think it was Karl Marx who says, my goal in life is to dethrone God and to destroy capitalism. The way to do that in America is to destroy our constitutional rights. And the Constitution is being trampled upon. Our First Amendment rights is the last wall, and the tough hand, the firm hand of government is pushing on that wall right now. It is time for us to rally and to hold that wall up and to let it be known across this land that we will not stand quiet and watch our liberties just sort of dissipate into nothing.
Tell me about the rally tomorrow.
The rally is an expression of our challenge to a mandate that is infringing upon our conscience, our religious freedom, our ability to express ourselves and to practice our faith in America. It is an opportunity for us to say to the nation, we've gone a little too far here, that the government is pushing into our lives in a way that will diminish the freedoms that were guaranteed to us by the Constitution.
Help people explain to their friends that aren't following the news as closely as we are.
And they're not. And we should talk to them about the intent of the First Amendment. That was a guarantee that we have a right to practice our faith. And what we're seeing is that the government is simply intruding. It is imposing upon our ability to practice our faith. It is the government saying to the churches and to religious people, we want you to do this in spite of your faith. And I think people need to understand what that means. That means that the government now defines faith for us.
You're not Catholic.
I'm not.
Why you stand up for the Catholics? Because really the Catholics are the ones that are out. And the Catholics don't even believe the stuff that the Pope says. And so, you know, they're not even living it. So why should I stand up? Why are you standing up?
Well, I'm standing up for the principles that is particularly evident in the First Amendment right. It wasn't written for Catholic. It was written for religious people. I'm a person I'm a person of faith. I believe that there is a God and that he defines morality and behavior, and I submit to that definition. Now we have the government coming in and forcing upon us a new definition, and that's the thing that needs to be expressed and articulated clearly by the church, that there's a new definition of morality that is outside of the Bible, that is the antithesis of everything that's defined for us within our faith relationship with our God.
For this plan to work, because this is, I mean, are you where I am? I'm without a shadow of a doubt. I believe we have now left the progressive part of this movement, and we're now either at the beginning or real early at the beginning, or just really entering the nasty part of communist kind of stuff. You have communists now in the streets. This is a anti-God, anti-communist, and it's about to go ugly. It's not this, oh, we're going to regulate. It's going to tear us apart.
Oh, absolutely. I think you're dead on. I think we have been seeing an incremental move that has found a rhythm. It has found a pace. And I really believe that the progressive movement and the socialist movement, the communist movement, believe that this is their moment and that they're going to push now more than ever to make it happen, to flip this nation. And if we don't do something about it, then, you know, really the onus is on us, because it is we, the people, who have a responsibility to steward those principles, those liberties that were handed down to us by our founding fathers.
You lost half of your congregation, 3/4 of your congregation?
Oh, well, a sizable portion of a congregation walked away. But more than that, I had financial support. I have an inner city ministry, and I had the support of many from around the Metroplex who recognized the value of helping people to provide a biblical alternative and to help them in their social needs. A lot of that money is gone. In fact, it is gone completely. We're just surviving on the giving of the people who stayed with us and who are walking with us in this struggle, this fight for liberty. We're still communicating and articulating the message because we need it. We know it needs to be there. It needs to be communicated.
What does your congregation need the most, Pastor?
I would just say prayer. We need prayer. My people are people who believe in the founding principles of our nation. They believe in self-determination. They believe in personal duty and responsibility. They believe in those principles that undergird who we are, that made America what we call exceptional. You cannot speak of the exceptionalism of America apart from its Judeo-Christian heritage. To do so is to do violence to our history. America is great because of those principles that are founded within Scripture.
You were radical when you were younger. Mm-hmm. You were influenced by radical nationalists.
I was young growing up in the 60s, and I was influenced by Malcolm X. I was influenced by black nationalists who were fighting for civil liberties for blacks, for first-class citizenship. And as a young man, those voices resonated with me. And I'm a fighter, and I've been fighting ever since.